All right, everybody, welcome back to Ox Talks. It is Thursday, January 4th, 2023. Just doing a short show today out of town for a couple of days over in Las Vegas. It's interesting. Usually try to get the family over here after the new year. In years past, if you wanted to avoid kind of the riffraff, come over after the first of the year. You get better rates on hotel rooms. All of the party animals have left town. Lines weren't usually as long. Those times have changed. Talked to the bellman yesterday when we were over here checking in, and he said really ever since the pandemic, it never really slows down out here. So all I can tell you is the lines are as long as ever. The crowds are, in some cases, kind of stifling. We were over at a nice buffet earlier today, and we had a reservation. But when we left the place, we walked out, and there was a line wrapped down at the hotel lobby. The person in front said that there was a 2.5 hour wait, 2.5 to 3 hour wait to get into this buffet. So I don't know who's waiting 2.5, 3 hours to eat, but there were a lot of people lined up for that. So look, I appreciate all of you watching the videos. I saw a lot of comments I tried to respond to today from yesterday's video. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. Please like these videos, hit the thumbs up. Please tap the bell notification so you get a word when my latest videos are posted. I'm trying to come out here every day and put something up for you guys dealing with some current events that I think are important. And again, continuing our quest to wake people up as to what's happening with this economy. A couple of the stories I'll share with you today are further evidence of this ongoing turmoil and the economic collapse. So again, thank you for all the support. Appreciate the community that is growing here. I'm glad to report I did a video, I think last week, about a case I was handling. It was a real estate dispute dealing with a dispute between two joint venture partners. And they had a falling out. We went in and filed a lawsuit. We were successful in obtaining a temporary restraining order, some injunctive relief to prohibit the sale from going forward and closing escrow until we could get something resolved or the case litigated. And without going into details, in this situation, we were able to bring this to a resolution. And the solution was, in this case, that the temporary restraining order could be dissolved. And that my client would allow the sale to proceed and close escrow on the condition that the other joint venture partner delivered an irrevocable escrow instruction to the escrow company that from the proceeds of escrow, my client is to receive X amount of dollars. And we submitted that to the judge by way of what's called a stipulation and proposed order that said, we agree to these things, we have a settlement agreement, and it's on these conditions. And the judge signed that order yesterday, which was great because it's enabling the parties to move forward to resolve the dispute. My client's going to get paid, and the case will then ultimately pretty quickly be dismissed. So this one ended well. They don't always end well. I've told you this before in prior videos. You need to, from my perspective, get a lawyer. And when you are dealing with transactions, especially real estate transactions, business transactions, partnerships, have these agreements properly documented before you start taking steps in furtherance of the partnership, before you start investing money, before you start taking on obligations. You have to have the what ifs, so to speak, ironed out ahead of time. Because they don't all end well, and sometimes clients find themselves in years-long litigation that's very expensive, and those sometimes don't end well, and they definitely end with a much greater expense to all parties. So that's a good piece of news to report on some litigation work I've been handling as part of the practice. I saw a couple stories today. One deals with the stock market. I don't cover the stock market too much on this channel, but I thought this was important. And it's from CNBC. It says Nasdaq closes lower for a fifth day in a row. Its longest losing streak since October of 2022. The tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite says dipped 0.56% to end at 14,510. Since the December 27th close, the index has lost nearly 4%. It says mega cap tech stocks such as Apple are underperforming to start the year as overstretched valuations and uncertainty around when the Federal Reserve will begin to cut rates have investors worried that markets have gotten overly optimistic. It says Apple's down more than 5% on the week. The tech giant fell more than 1% on Thursday following a downgrade by Piper Sandler 2 days after Barclays also lowered its rating. So some of these blue chip stocks that are just, they're infallible. They keep going up. Apple's a big one, and it has seen some pullback. I was texting a friend of mine who's heavily into the market today. I sent this article over to him, and the response was, well, it's always rationalization. This is just a profit taking after the end of the year. This is just a rotation into other sectors. Maybe that's the case. I'm not a stock market guy. I listen to good friends of mine that are in the market very heavily, and that's what they do. So we'll see. We'll see if this is just a rotation or just some taking of profits, or if this downturn in the market continues to bleed over, maybe into the S&P, maybe into the Dow Jones. But look, if you're if you are a Nasdaq weighted investor, you've lost 4% of your portfolio since the last couple of days of December. So we'll keep watch on that. The 10-year bond continued to spike today. I think that weighed on the markets. Again, everyone has to have their own approach, their own investment strategy as to what makes sense for them. Obviously, from my personal perspective, I preach holding hard assets as certainly one way to have a savings account and to protect your wealth. Sorry if this computer screen is shining off my face here. I have my laptop right in front of me. I'm doing a little different style today, sharing some of these articles with you from the laptop. I have my phone propped up on about 4 couch pillows here. I didn't really prepare well coming out of town to film these videos. So hopefully the phone stays steady and doesn't collapse. That would be very unprofessional. But the next article I want to share is dealing with the shipping. Again, last week covered some stories about what's happening with the shipping and the conflict in the Red Sea, the fact that the United States was rolling out this project to help to protect these shipping lanes from the Houthi attacks. So today, there's an article out that says spot, and we talked about how this was going to impact not only the shipping container rates, but how that would flow through and impact the price of products and even the availability of products due to these delays, because they're having to go down around the Horn of Africa now rather than go through the Red Sea and the Suez Canal, which is adding 2 or 3 weeks also of shipping time. Also, let's talk about the price increase for the shipping rates. It's a lot. It says spot container rates surged by 173% due to Red Sea disruptions. Drone and missile attacks by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi militants on commercial vessels in one of the world's busiest shipping lanes have resulted in firms sending ships around the Cape of Good Hope, entirely avoiding the Red Sea region. It says reroutings have added a week or more to sailings, thus straining cargo capacity, which in turn has sent the containerized shipping rates soaring. Bloomberg cites new data from Freightos, a cargo booking and payment platform, that says spot rate for a 40-foot container from Asia to Northern Europe has jumped 173% since mid-December. The price for a 40-foot container from Asia to the Mediterranean has increased to $5,175 per container. That's even more than 173%. And some of the rates, it says, are surpassing $6,000 mark per container because of what is happening here. So it says on Wednesday, no container ships with destinations to North America and Europe were transiting the Red Sea. These vessels were rerouted to Africa's southern Cape of Good Hope to avoid the attacks, adding anywhere, we said, from 7 to 20 days to the voyages. So what they said, the article says their hedge indicates that Pentagon's Operation Prosperity Guardian has failed to protect the commercial vessels in the region. So, we need to keep a watch on this because we're going to have potential impact on availability of products. We also have an impact on the massive amounts of oil that get transported through that region. So let's continue and I'll continue to bring you updates on the status of this disruption with shipping out of and through the Red Sea. With that being said, I got up this morning early. I got an hour of cardio in here at the hotel facility before the day started. Again, no excuses. Everybody, I think, needs to start this year strong with physical fitness. You don't always have to be hitting the weights. I've been hitting the classes, for 8 days straight. So I decided I'm going to take a few days off, just do some cardio, hit the treadmill, hit the elliptical, burn some calories. It's still calories in, calories out. We talked about how important the diet component of all of this is. I saw some comments from a few of you about joining a gym now, the calorie and the diet. Some of you talked about, fasting you use. Whatever program works for you, implement it. But from my perspective, it's important that we do something to make ourselves, more resilient, obviously to improve our health, to improve our mental acuity and sharpness, because all this stuff is unfolding. And when you're sitting on the couch, when you're not paying attention to diet, when you're avoiding exercise, it will continue to pile up. The stress is not as easily to deal with and digest when you don't have this as part of your regimen. From my perspective, everyone's different. Obviously, speak to your doctor. I'm not a dietitian or a health expert, but I think it's really, really crucial. With that being said, I'll keep it about 12 minutes today. I'll try to report in tomorrow on Friday with some current events and touch base with what's going on. Hope all of you have a really great rest of your evening. And I appreciate you watching the channel. Have a great night. Bye.